It's Thursday, the day after New Comic Book Day, but better late than never, right? I thought so. Let's get into it. Welcome back to the channel, guys. This is TJ, aka Flash by Night, and this is another episode of the Re-Up. So what I have for you tonight is a giveaway I won a couple of weeks back that I want to show off. I also opened up one of my Walmart packs and I want to show you what was in there, because there's one book that is a pretty cool looking book and I want to show it to you. And I also have my pickups for the week, minus a couple of books that I couldn't get my hands on that I'm going to have to dig around for a little bit later on. So first, I have 3 books that I won in a giveaway from Carolina Chris 26, a fellow YouTube comic book community member. And the first book is Oblivion Song, Book 1, by Robert Kirkman. And I really don't know what Oblivion Song's about. I've heard this title a couple of times, but I've never checked it out. And so this will give me a chance to read it from the beginning. But that's not the most special part of this book. I looked inside of it real quick to see if I can find a synopsis or if I can find something I can latch on to. And what I did was opened up the first page. And if you look really close, you can see that it is signed by the comic jabroni in March of last year. I have no clue why he signed this book. I really want to know the story behind it. If you don't know, the late comic jabroni was a comic book community member on YouTube. Really positive, popular guy. And I am glad I have a book with his name in it, but I want to know the background, so I'm going to ask around. The next book I have is That Texas Blood #1. Again, a book I don't know much about. It was pretty popular when it first came out. I think it died down a little, so we'll read this first issue and see if it encourages me to check out the rest of them. And my third and final book from this giveaway is Riptide Cave Woman. I'm not even sure of the issue number, but this looks like something a teenager would sneak under his bed at night. But we won't talk much about that. So next up is a Walmart pack that I got maybe about a week ago. I decided to go ahead and open it, and I want to show you what's inside of it. The first book in the Walmart pack is, of course, Venom #25. Also, I don't know how well you can see it, but there's a white border at the bottom of the book. That's not the board, but there's a white border. It looks like it may have been cut wrong. I don't know if that's of any significance or not, but it kind of jumped out to me a little bit when I picked it up. And the next book in here is X-Men Grand Designs #1, variant edition. And last but not least, I have Iron Fist 73. But as you can tell, it lenticulates to Iron Fist number 14, which is, of course, the first appearance of Sabretooth. Now, that is pretty cool. This may be the closest I get to an Iron Fist 14 in the near future, so I'm going to hold on to this. And lastly, I have my books for actual New Comic Book Day. And the first book is Avengers 42, I believe. The Alex Ross variant with Hawkeye on the front. Future State Wonder Woman, the second print. I am going to get Future State Wonder Woman number 2. My LCS was out of them, but I do want to eventually get number 2 and crack both of these open and read them. I have the first print of Wonder Woman, but I didn't want to open it. So the second print will be the one I read. Next is Future State The Flash number 2. Of course, I have to have all my Flash books, and I'm actually pretty anxious to see how this book wraps up. If they're able to basically save Wally West, or if Barry will make that ultimate choice. We'll find out. Now, my next couple of books are not technically new, but are new. So, I have Bitterroot number 1, the Image First Edition. So these are kind of reprints of some of the Image books. And I did not get on Bitterroot when the story first started, when the book first came out. I really wasn't into independence at all then. And so when I saw this number 1 was coming out and it was only $1, I decided to grab it so I can read it, and maybe again I'll go back and check it out. Next is Philadelphia number 1, Image First. Again, a book that I didn't get on when it first started because I didn't know much about independence, and I heard it was a pretty good read, and eventually got a hold of issues 1 through 4, but I hadn't read them yet, and so I figured getting this Image First book will be the perfect opportunity to actually crack it open and read what Philadelphia is all about. So really quick, from my bland office, I was able to track down 2 Future State books I was looking forward to. First is Future State Wonder Woman number 2. I have the second print of number 1, and now I have number 2. So I can go ahead and read both of those and see what it's all about. I think Yara Flora is going to end up making it into DC proper after Future State, so that's really important. And the second book I picked up from Future State is Future State The Next Batman number 3. The store I got this from only had the cardstock covers, so it costed me $1 more, but that's not a bad deal at all, especially since I want to read the Batman and, of course, The Outsiders. And so my last book I have, speaking of last, is TMNT The Last Ronin number 1, 3rd print. Just a little backstory. I have the first print and I have one other variant, but I sent them to be signed and slabbed by CGC. I was told by a few people that these square-bound books, once you open them, the spine is usually not the same, and so they were harder to get 9.8s after you open them. So I never did read my first print, and so having the 3rd print once again will give me an opportunity to read this book. So overall, we had a pretty decent New Comic Book Day, or a day after New Comic Book Day. There are a couple of Future State books and a couple of other books that I wanted to pick up, but my LCS didn't have. And so I'll have to try a couple of other LCSs around the local area to see if I can get a hold to them. If I do, of course, I will let you know. I'd like to thank everyone for coming to check me out. If you saw anything you liked, if you had fun, if you enjoyed this content, go ahead and hit the like button. And if you want to keep on seeing this content from me, press the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, do all the good YouTube things, and of course, feel free to leave comments. And as always, love yourself, love others, and I will be back in a flash.